Imagine this. It is a Tuesday morning. You walk to your mailbox. You pull out an envelope from the Social Security Administration. You open it, and the letter says you owe the federal government $47,000. Not a scam, not a mistake by your mail carrier. A real letter from the real Social Security Administration telling you that you were overpaid, and if you do not pay the full amount back within 30 days, they will start taking half of your Social Security check every single month until the debt is gone. Your check that was $2,000 a month, it is now $1,000. Your rent is still due, your groceries still cost the same, your Medicare premium is still being deducted, but your income just got cut in half, and nobody warned you it was coming. This is not a hypothetical. This is happening to seniors across the United States right now, in 2026. I am Edward. I am a senior policy analyst and retirement finance researcher. And I made this video because I believe every single retiree in this country deserves to know exactly what this rule is, how it works, and most importantly, what you can do right now to protect yourself. Here is what I'm going to cover in the next few minutes. First, I'm going to explain the exact federal policy that allows the government to withhold 50% of your Social Security check. Second, I'm going to show you the 3 official forms, all free, all on the SSA website, that can stop the withholding before it even starts. And third, I am going to walk you through the one mistake that most seniors make with this notice. A mistake that turns a fixable situation into a financial disaster. Please stay until the end of this video, because the most important step, the one that protects you even if the SSA made the error, is step number 3. And almost nobody knows about it. Let me tell you about Robert. Robert is 67 years old. He lives in a small town outside of Tampa, Florida. He retired 3 years ago. He worked his whole adult life, paid into Social Security for over 4 decades. When he retired, he started collecting his benefit, about $2,100 a month. Not a fortune, but enough to cover his mortgage, his utilities, his groceries, and his Medicare Part B premium. Robert did everything right, or so he thought. What Robert did not realize is that 2 years ago, his wife Linda started a small part-time job at a local craft store. She was earning about $900 a month. Not much. But Linda was also receiving a spousal benefit on Robert's Social Security record, and that extra income changed the math on what Linda was entitled to receive. Neither Robert nor Linda reported this change to the Social Security Administration. They did not know they had to. Nobody told them. Linda's job felt small, insignificant, a little extra spending money. Then, in early 2026, a letter arrived. The SSA had recalculated Linda's spousal benefit. They determined that over 2 years, she had been overpaid by just over $23,000. And because of a policy that changed in April of 2025, the default recovery rate was now 50%. That means half of Linda's monthly benefit would be withheld every month for years until $23,000 was paid back. Robert panicked. He looked at the letter. He saw the amount, $23,000. He thought it had to be a scam. He almost threw it away. And that is where the real danger begins. Because if Robert had thrown that letter away, if he had ignored it for just 30 days, the withholding would have started automatically. No second warning, no phone call, just a smaller check deposited into his bank account the following month. Robert's story is not unusual. According to the SSA's own Office of Inspector General, overpayment errors make up less than 1% of total benefit outlays, but they disproportionately hit disability recipients and seniors on fixed incomes. And sometimes the error is not even the beneficiary's fault. It is the agency's. So let me break down exactly what the rule says, and then I will show you how to fight back. Here is the policy, and I am going to go through this carefully because the details matter. Under Section 204 of the Social Security Act, the SSA is legally required to recover any overpayment. That means if they paid you more than you were entitled to receive, for any reason, they must try to get that money back. This is not optional for the agency, it is the law. Now here is where the timeline gets important. For decades, the default recovery rate was 100%. That means if the SSA said you were overpaid, they could stop your entire check, your whole monthly payment gone, until the debt was cleared. That was the policy under the Obama administration, the first Trump administration, and the early Biden administration. Then, in March of 2024, the Biden administration reduced the default withholding rate to just 10%. That was in response to public outrage over stories of seniors receiving bills for tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes for overpayments that happened a decade earlier. But that 10% rate did not last. On March 7, 2025, the SSA, under Acting Commissioner Lee Dudek, announced that the default rate was going back to 100%, the full amount. The press release said, and I quote, "It is our duty to revise the overpayment repayment policy back to full withholding to properly safeguard taxpayer funds." The SSA's chief actuary estimated this change would recover an additional $7 billion over the next 10 years. The backlash was immediate. Advocacy groups, members of Congress, and organizations like AARP pushed back hard. AARP's Senior Vice President for Government Affairs, Bill Sweeney, said, and I quote, "Oftentimes these mistakes are actually Social Security's fault, and slapping people with huge penalties for mistakes other people made just isn't right." Less than 2 months later, on April 25, 2025, the SSA issued an internal emergency message to all staff known as EM-25029. It reduced the default rate from 100% down to 50%, and that 50% rate is what is in effect right now as of today in 2026. It applies to all Title II benefits. That includes retirement benefits, survivor benefits, family benefits, and Social Security disability insurance. Now let me put that in real numbers so you can understand what this means for your household. The average monthly Social Security retirement benefit as of February 2026 is $2,021.77. If the 50% withholding kicks in, you lose roughly $1,011 per month. And remember, your Medicare Part B premium, which is now $202.90 per month in 2026, is still being deducted from what remains. So let me do the math for you. $2,021.77 minus $1,011 withheld minus $202.90 for Medicare. That leaves you with roughly $807 for the entire month to cover your rent or mortgage, your food, your utilities, your medications, your transportation, everything. $807. Now here is what you absolutely need to understand. The SSA's website says if you do not pay them back within 30 days of the date on the notice, the 50% withholding starts automatically. There is no second letter. There is no courtesy call. It just happens. But there is something else you need to know. And this is where most people get confused. The SSA's internal emergency message also references an approximately 90-day due process period, which is the time between when the notice is sent and when the system actually begins the automatic deduction. But here is the critical point. If you file a waiver, an appeal, or a request for a lower rate within the first 30 days, the SSA cannot collect a single dollar from you until they make a decision on your request. Not one penny. If you wait longer than 30 days but still act within 90 days, you can still stop the withholding, but there may be a brief period where some money is taken before your request is processed. The safest thing you can do is act within 30 days of the date printed on that notice. And one more thing that is absolutely critical. This debt does not disappear when you die. Per the SSA's own website, and I quote, "If you die before you fully repay an overpayment, we may seek repayment from anyone who receives benefits based on your record." That means your surviving spouse or your dependent children could have their benefits reduced to pay back your overpayment. And if you are no longer receiving benefits at all, the SSA can refer the debt to the Department of the Treasury. The Treasury can seize your federal tax refund, intercept state payments, or even garnish your wages. And under the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 416.580, there is no statute of limitations. They can come after this money years or even decades later. So what do? I am going to give you 3 exact steps right now. If you do nothing else after watching this video, please do these 3 things. Step 1. If you receive an overpayment notice from the Social Security Administration, do not throw it away. Do not assume it is a scam. Open it. Read it carefully. Write down the date printed on the notice. That date is when your 30-day clock starts. This letter is real, and ignoring it is the single worst thing you can do. Step 2. You have 3 official options, and you need to pick the one that fits your situation. Every one of these forms is free and available at ssa.gov forms. Option A. If you believe you were not overpaid or the amount is wrong, file Form SSA 561, Request for Reconsideration. This tells the SSA you dispute the overpayment itself. Option B. If you agree you were overpaid, but it was not your fault and you cannot afford to pay it back, file Form SSA 632BK, Request for Waiver of Overpayment Recovery. This is the most powerful form available to you. Under federal law, specifically 20 CFR Section 404-506, the SSA cannot recover the overpayment if you meet 2 conditions. Number 1, you were without fault in causing the overpayment. Number 2, recovery would deprive you of income you need for basic living expenses. If the waiver is denied, you have the right to a personal conference where you can testify, present documents, and even be represented by an attorney. Option C. If you accept the overpayment but cannot afford the 50% withholding rate, file Form SSA 634, Request for Change in Overpayment Recovery Rate. This lets you negotiate a lower monthly amount. There is no legally mandated minimum. It is based entirely on your financial situation. Filing any of these forms within 30 days stops all collection. The SSA's own March 2025 press release confirmed it. I quote, "The agency does not pursue recoveries while an initial appeal or waiver is pending." Step 3. And this is the step that prevents the problem from ever happening in the first place. Report every change in your life to the Social Security Administration as soon as it happens. If you start a part-time job, report it. If your spouse starts working, report it. If you move to a new address, report it. If your marital status changes, report it. If your living arrangements change in any way, report it. The SSA's official fact sheet says it plainly. I quote, "Reporting life changes to us timely is your responsibility. Report changes as soon as possible." Most overpayments happen because the SSA does not have updated information about your situation. Sometimes it is the agency's error, but the responsibility to report changes falls on you. And that one unreported change, that small part-time job, that move to your daughter's house, that is what can trigger a letter 2 years later demanding tens of thousands of dollars. Do not let that happen to you. Now I need to tell you something important, and I mean this sincerely. YouTube is not a reliable way to stay informed about changes to your Social Security benefits. Algorithms change, notifications get buried, videos get delayed, and the rules affecting your retirement income can change with a single emergency message from the SSA, just like the one they issued in April 2025 that changed the withholding rate overnight. You cannot afford to miss these updates. That is why I want you to do something right now before you close this video. Click the link in the description below and join the Global Senior Alerts official WhatsApp channel. When you join, you will be able to download a free copy of the Senior Benefits Protection Guide. That guide includes every form number I mentioned today, the exact phone numbers to call, the deadlines you need to know, and a step-by-step checklist for responding to an overpayment notice. More importantly, when the next rule change happens, and it will happen, you will receive a real-time alert directly on your phone. No algorithm, no guessing, just the facts delivered straight to you so you can protect yourself and your family. I am Edward. I make these videos because I believe that after a lifetime of hard work, you deserve to know the truth about the rules that affect your retirement. Not the watered-down version, not the confusing government language. The truth, in plain English, with the exact steps to take. If this video helped you, please share it with someone you care about. A spouse, a parent, a neighbor, a friend at church. Anyone who receives Social Security needs to see this. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next alert. And leave a comment below if you have received an overpayment notice. Tell me your story. I read every single comment, and I will do my best to point you in the right direction. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.